Hey, what's up everybody? Ed the Prom Professor here. I am at my home in Sugar Grove. We're getting ready for phase 2 of the Hobbit House build. Remember, this has got a waterfall coming off of it. So the challenge that we have right now is time. I got a bunch of guys coming in. I got George, I got Blake, I have Team Aquascape, I got the pond guy coming out. So this is a funky installation. It's not just like I'm building a pergola. It has to hold thousands and thousands of pounds of weight because I'm gonna be burying this thing under tons and tons of soil. But I got a lot of things to do because building the pond for Shaquille O'Neal, we've been talking about this for years, literally years. So I'm totally pumped about it. Got to make sure everything is ready. Let's go check it out. Our next steps, put in these cross pieces. So these are 4-inch diameter fence posts. And you can see they are bracing against the bottom. So remember, I keep talking about this, and I think it's a really important part, is the forces that are going to be acting upon this. So we have the weight on top. It's going to want to push that out, and then conversely, it's going to want to push that in. So this whole thing is going to go like that. So this is going to help resist that, because as that pushes across, it's going to push the weight to that center post, and it's going to split the force between those two. Those two are actually going to push those in, and it's actually going to change the front, and those are going to want to come up. Just kind of level itself out is the idea. Austin is coming in with some more crushed stone. We're going to fill around all those posts. We're getting close to starting to set our big logs up on top. We did go pick up the other logs. I'm going to walk out and I'll show you those. I'm really excited about those. Here are some of the logs that we got. You can see these are all solid oak. This is a big giant one. This is going to be the central piece that we're looking at. Got a lot of character and curves to them. That's the reason I chose these. This is a really good mixture of stuff, and I think this is going to do a job for us. Alright, we have it positioned. Now we're going to take it off and cut some notches to hold it in place, and then we're going to try to rotate that a little bit as well. Big timbers in place, main supports. These screws were just put in temporarily. Now we're coming in 5/8 auger, and we're going to put in a series of oak dowels. Got my little sledge, oak dowel, 12-inch long. We're going to pin all this stuff together. We've already done that one over there. We're also going to do the tops up in here. And then we're going to come in with some larger diameter dowels and get these big guys in there a little bit better. All right, go ahead. Nice. I'm standing kind of looking off to the south. This will become a new hillside that is going to be on top of the structure. Somewhere in this corner is where I'm thinking of putting the biofalls. So we want this stream to kind of cascade and move its way right across this corner, drop down. This will all be filled with soil. These are good solid 2x8s. And then on the back side, another 2x8. Again, I'm using whatever I have here on the property. Everything is looking really good. Our next steps are going to be to finish that little roof section there on the front, start putting the boards here on the back side. These are going to be 2x6 treated, and then we could start burying this. Once we start getting some of that soil in, I'm also going to go and pick up some of the decking material for the roof. I'd like to experiment with a Japanese treatment process where you char the face of the wood and it kind of creates a carbonized face. That will help resist mildew, moisture, and all that type of stuff, and I think it'll create a really cool look inside here. Jump back over here, get this front section done. This is a really critical component, the last section of the roof. Remember, this is going to be a green or a living roof, so I'm going to have soil going over the top of this, but the soil here is going to be able to go all the way back down to the existing grade. Over here on this front, that's not an option. We cannot have dirt come over this whole top because we're going to have a waterfall here, and I want an opening right here. So by doing a log, I could actually bring that log up higher, and it could hold some of that soil back. So we're putting on all the boards on the back 3 sides. We're going to be pushing this material up against the back. We're also bracing everything together. That's really creating a solid monolithic wall over here. Austin's cutting boards, Ellen's screwing them in. We have this front section in, which is looking pretty interesting. This little area right through here, you can see Ellen working on the other side. So we're gonna have that beautiful little window coming out. See what it's looking like inside. What do you think?
It's gonna be good, I'm sure. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like when there's dirt around it, because I have a hard time picturing it.
Yeah, definitely something that's taken years myself to kind of comprehend. The main thing is we have to get the roof done, and then we need to create this little window type thing right over here. Liking the progress though. We have our cedar decking that we just picked up. This is 5/4 inch by 6 inch. We are gonna take a torch and we're gonna burn it. So we're gonna kind of create a carbonized outer shell for it, which is gonna help preserve it a little bit. And it's also gonna create a really unique pattern on the wood itself. You get these different wood grains, they're really gonna pop out. So you're gonna see a lot of the striation. Let's give it a try. Austin, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. That grain popping out. Too much. Liking the way this is turning out. It's looking pretty cool. And Austin wanted to see what it was like to make a piece of toast very quickly. Hit it, Cole. It's not bad. A little bit darker on that side. Oh, there it is. Seconds.
Nice.
We had 4 inches of rain last night, kind of turning everything into a muddy mess. 18 inches of water down in the bottom of there. So here we are. We have all that really cool wood that we've done. Buddy Matt came out. He's going to give us a hand. We are going to start putting this decking down on top. Come in here. I have some aqua blocks. Those things are super, super versatile. They're strong. What they're going to do is they're going to provide a nice little void space back in here for me. It's going to help alleviate some of these issues right now. You can see I have this big gap over here that needs to be managed. So those aqua blocks will bridge across that. I'm going to have some heavy fabric going across that. Then I'm going to come in here and start layering my soil in place. It's also going to give me a little bit of a drainage barrier so I don't have all that wet soil kind of pushing up against our entire structure. Everything is looking really good at this point. So why don't we start doing some of this roofing? So we are moving along. We're making great progress here. The cedar is going on great. We have that 5/4 decking going in place. This is the stuff that we charred yesterday. So let's take a peek on that on the inside. It is blending in with this old stuff. Really, really cool. So we did gap everything just to make it a little bit easier. And then we're gonna come over the top of this with 1/2 inch treated plywood, which we have right here. Then on top of that, we're gonna put our rubber membrane, and on top of that is gonna be our drainage panels. We're making great progress on our roof. We got all of our 5/4 inch cedar decking down in place. We're getting ready to put those oak rafters in place, but there's another piece that I want to add into this, which is going to be really, really cool. So here's what we have. We have our roof. We have this really gentle pitch coming down, our slanted walls coming in. So I want to kind of create a window effect. Again, here's my big post coming, and then I have my big beams going across like this. So what I want to do is I want to cut a hole through the decking, and then I want to put in kind of like a dormer type effect. So again, this is all going to be covered in soil, remember. Actually, that dormer will probably be left open because that's going to be natural wood. So what I want to use, I'm going to show you, this will have sunlight coming in. This is going to be an important piece because it's going to let in a little bit more light, because currently we only have 2 openings for light. So let's go over here and take a quick look. So my thought is to use one of these natural logs that we have. I'm going to end up cutting this thing at that angle so it drops right in, and then that's going to allow sunlight to come in here. So we'll cut it in half. We should be able to get 2 of them out of this. They're not going to be huge. It's going to be a little bit of light coming in, which is going to make all the difference in the world. And I also think it's going to kind of break things up a little bit, add a little bit more dimension over here on the back side. And that's what this is all about. We're trying to create a really cool environment, something that people have never seen. So it's these little details that make all the difference in the world. All right, we are currently building aqua blocks over here. We got Charlie and Cole doing large aqua blocks and small. They got a nice little assembly line practice going on here. So we're going to use them for structural stability behind the Hobbit House, and then they're also going to be used as part of the filtering system. So we're using them for a lot of different things, but that's what I love about aqua blocks. Once you start using them, you are going to find a million different uses for these things. And once you get that process down, you can see you can put them together pretty quickly. But over here, we got a bunch of smalls already made. These will help alleviate some of the weight on the roof. And then remember, this is, if you've seen that project that we did up in Oakville, Canada, and that was a rooftop project. We had to bring in a bunch of different aqua blocks on top of the roof to keep the weight down. And it's the exact same thing that we're going to do here. I know we're going to end up overloading stuff. If we could alleviate some of that pressure or some of the weight, it'll definitely help us in the long run. The roof is looking good. You can see all the different layers we have here. We have our 4x6 oak beams. We have our 5/4 inch cedar decking. Then we have 1/2 inch treated plywood on top of that. So we're going to come on top of this to kind of stiffen everything up with some more treated 2x6. We're going to measure out where our drainage panels are going to go, and those boards will kind of bridge over on either side of those. The roof is almost done. Aqua blocks are built. We are now shuffling rocks into position. So we have our biggest boulder coming in right now. Actually, Ellen's over here doing some touch-up painting work. The goats are not happy because they're all locked up right now, and that's because we need a pathway to get all the boulders in. This is our main access road for everything. This is the biggest stone that we have, pushing that machine definitely to the limit. You can see how it's strapped up right up against the edge of the machine over there. The center of gravity is going to be a little bit closer to the machine, which makes a big difference. So we still got a lot of work to do. We only have about 6 hours left, and it is going to start getting tight. I got some of these boards screwed on the back. We got to get the rest of those 2x6s on the front. Once that's in place, I got to set the biofalls, and then we can start moving all that soil. Roof is just about done. Just started working on some of the base for the waterfall. I just want to show you what we're doing over here. You can see there are some treated 2x8s. Those are screwed in from the other side. Those are level going all the way across. I'm going to come in with my heavy duty fabric. That's going to get laid across those boards. It's going to go up the back side of all of that treated wood. In between those, because now I'm 1.5 inches low, I'm going to come in with some screenings. Going to level that off. I'm going to then put in a layer of aqua blocks in place. On top of the aqua blocks is going to get some of our other stuff. Ellen's actually got my screenings right there, so perfect timing. And then I just started unboxing everything. A couple pallets. We have our liners, our biofalls, we have our pump vault, we have extensions, our faux stumps to cover some stuff up. Looks like we got some lights in there. So what I want to do now is I'm going to start taking this biofalls apart, prepare that for the plumbing, and then I'm going to position it on the back side of the little Hobbit House. So this is the critical part. The top of this is going to be set to allow water to flow out of the biofalls after it's gone through the biological filtration process. It's going to then flow out. That's going to be positioned right where the guys are working right now. So all that water is going to flow off of the corner of that building. This is what's making this project challenging. It's making it unique. This is all starting to come together. Clock is definitely ticking on us. Finally at that point where we're getting ready to set the biofalls. Everything has been reinforced. We have a good solid base over here to work with. Crushed gravel. I have that fabric to keep everything from moving. On top of that, we then came in with some 4x6s. The reason we did that, we needed the elevation to jump up a little bit higher. We're then going to place those aqua blocks, 2 of them side by side right there. The biofalls will then sit on top of that. That's going to set it at the appropriate elevation. Once that's in place, we're going to hook up our plumbing. We're going to try to get the rubber liner over the top of the roof, drape everything in place. Charlie's moving soil as we speak. It is going to be dark soon and 100% chance of rain tomorrow. All this prep work needs to be done today, ideally, and it's going to be really tight, really tight. Soil's finally going in. It has been a long process. You can see by the look on Ellen's eyes. That fabric, that heavy duty underlayment fabric, super durable stuff. And that goes up along the wall. It's been attached by some strips up to the top. That layer goes down underneath everything, so that's giving us protection against that wall there. We have a layer of aqua blocks, so it's a good, stable, solid structural surface, nice and level. Ellen's standing inside of that because we're going to start backfilling. Our plumbing is going out the other side. We're going to bring in more soil in here. We have a very short window here to get some of this stuff done before it rains. This project is pushing me to my limits. We've had a ton of different challenges that popped up. We got hit with 8 inches of rain over a several day period, which has made a muddy mess of everything. So we have the structure done. We're working on trying to get that roof done so we can start burying it, but we got this wet, sloppy, nasty soil, which increases the weight and makes things very difficult. We were able to push through it. We got the biofall set. We got everything ready for the rest of the team to arrive just next week. So I got Blake, I got George, I got Team Aquascape, I got the pond guy coming out. Everybody's coming out to give me a hand on this project. And on top of that, we're heading for Shaq. We're heading down to Atlanta. We're going to do an incredible project for Shaquille O'Neal. There's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Stay tuned.